We all know the story of Persephone and Hades, but what happens when you give it a little modern twist? Let's find out today in Katee Roberts' Neon Gods. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Painting the Story, where you and me get together to talk about books and get ready for the day. I am your host, EVC, and without further ado, let's get into it. First, we need to talk about our author, Katee Roberts. They are rather well known, especially in the book talk community, where I heard about this book, and they are a bestseller and started their journey back in 2012. Mind you, it's only been like a decade, but she's already considered one of the best romance authors and has over 50 books. That's like 40 books a year, by the way. Now, they are a pro-parent and what I'd call an enthusiastic writer, if it wasn't already obvious, and also a knitter, which, love that girl. You and me, let's get up. We can do a little knit off. I crochet, but we don't have to talk about that. Same difference, you know? Now, for their writing process, I actually found it very relatable. They already have these preconceived characters and an ending going on, so it's more about a brainstorming process revolving around how to get to that ending. Now, they do like to write in the mornings, a little bit of music, you know how it is, and what I really like is how they have these characters fully fleshed out in their head as if it's a real person, and that's why it's so easy for them to write these stories. This wasn't directly said, but to me it kind of sounds like they have these people, and it's more about logging how they were interacting with each other. Like, you're just an observer of these people's lives. And that personally really fits into my wee Delulu situations I got going up in here. Like, period. You do that, girl. Now, a little bit of inspiration for you. Katee does suffer from chronic pain, but this has not stopped them from writing. Since 2024, they now dictate their books and have a transcriber that types it all out for them, which is so stunning. No walls can stop you, boo. Now, Katee isn't here for the smooch. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube. You know what I'm on about. They're actually here to help people. Their purpose of writing, or however you want to call it, is to act as an educator. Katee strongly believes in romance genre as being a way to develop your understanding of relationships and your connection with pleasure itself. And it's not just about being enjoyable, although, of course, that's a very much appreciated plus. They really want to promote the learning of thyself, the different relationship dynamics that can occur, expressing yourself, and really figuring out what you like in this type of space. And they don't give any Fs about the politics about this whole community either, because Katee is well aware that pleasure and all of its facets have been very taboo in society, whether it's about women's rights, queer rights, and frankly, it's a massive motivator for her, as far as I can tell, of course. In another spot that hits close to home, like with any good author, in my opinion, they believe in escapism with books, being able to see yourself as the main character. And in an interview with Pen America, Katee says, "I write for the people who need hope, who want to be able to pick up a book and feel safe within its pages and escape from the reality of the world for a little while, so you can catch the breath." Now, let's get into Neon Gods. This is the first book in the Dark Olympus series, and we'll get into the review later. You'll see. So you have this city split into 3 regions: the upper city, lower city, and then the ports. The place is ruled by a group called the 13, who are families whose heads fall into one of the 3 deity titles, like Hera, Demeter, Apollo, you get it, who oversee different attributes of the city respectively, like Demeter and agriculture. And of course, there's Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon, who mainly preside over the 3 regions. Like, Poseidon has the water, that sort of thing. but low-key, Zeus is a little tyrant. Then we have our main character, Persephone, who is the biological daughter of Demeter, and she's being wed off to Zeus for political ties, which would technically make her the new Hera. By the way, I don't know if they have actual names. They just kind of get called their title, so I suppose if there's like a change and you miss the memo, it sucks for you. The problem is, though, that Heras all keep dying, and frankly, everyone knows who it is, but nothing can get done about it. And if isn't obvious, Mr. Lightning Bolts himself. So, Persephone flees, because hell no, and whose arms does she fall into? Hades, of course, who happens to be Zeus's arch nemesis. It is a miracle what difference having a completely flat face tone makes. Like, so much better. So, Persephone and Hades start courting because this is their big plot in order to prevent Persephone from having to be wed to Zeus, and of course, being killed off for it. And of course, it's only temporary as they try and come up with a better solution, because as it currently stands, Persephone has been wanting to flee the city, but it's very unrealistic in the situation. But of course, this courting becomes a little bit less fake every single day. The review. There are so many characters, and they all feel really unique, yet very much fitting with their titles. I really just applaud Katee's commitment to diversity, and I really feel the sense of, no, yeah, this is a real person. Now, if we're talking about themes, the world is very much giving that highly modern city vibe. I was personally envisioning a Seoul-like place with all the metalworks, lights, glass, neons. And in contrast, the South City seems more down to earth, and maybe what you'd call rustic or classical, like more life, more culture, rather than all the robotic rubbish, really. Sorry, I don't like sci-fi. There is a lot of extravagance as well. They are Nepo babies, after all, and this does persist into the lower city as you explore Hades' mansion. When it comes to the relationship dynamics themselves, you have the bratty femme-female MC who starts coming into her power, and then the dom, controlling, highly masked male MC who Loki gives into her desires and whims. It's very entertaining. And the whole situation is a faux relationship, of course, that turns romance. Would you call that friends to lovers, or is it just called fake dating? Let me know down below. Now, into the review. The strengths. I have to say, amazing world building and storytelling. I loved the bratty personality of Persephone, and it was very modern and relatable, especially in the humor. Like, there were a couple of times, especially in this one scene, where Hades is on a video call, and she does something. I'm not gonna spoil it. It was really funny. I was literally out here giggling. And the courting between her and Hades was also just so adorable. And there's a scene with them in the greenhouse, and just, it was so beautiful. I really enjoyed that part. And then, of course, like, Hades' house, stunning. You know I love me a little mansion, rustic, kind of giving, it is modern, but I was kind of getting, like, romantic castle vibes, you know? Now, for the weaknesses. The book is a dark romance, and there is some spice, but I really felt like more can be done. It honestly really reads as a YA story that happens to get a little interesting. And I'm not the only one who said that. As I was, like, researching this book, a lot of people talked about how it felt a little overhyped in the content that they were going to be seeing, because it is marketed as being very spicy. Into my overall impression. I'm going to be honest, I love the story, and if we were only grading based upon the plot, then it'll be a 10 out of 10, absolutely. Like, I really enjoyed the story. But this is a spicy novel, and we came here for spice, so it has to be judged. And that's why I have to give this book a 7 out of 10. As I said, there was a lot that was introduced and a lot that could have been done, and it just feels like it wasn't capitalized on properly. Dare I say a little vanilla? But there's nothing wrong with vanilla. Now, when it comes to like recommending this, of course, keep in mind the trigger warnings and always prioritize your health first. Now with the recommendation, Katee is frankly known for your dark romance or dark spice, and you do get a little bit of that here. I wouldn't say that the content is crazy though, but it is a little bit adventurous, but in a fun way. Now, this is Hades we're talking about, and he does deliver. This book is for those who are wanting that dark, dumb, kind of cold, but in a mature way, husbando wanting baddies. If that's not your thing, don't worry. Katee is very good at diversity, and with so many books, even in the same universe, there is a trope and personality type for everyone. That being said, the story is not very spice heavy, so I wouldn't come here if that's the only thing that you're looking for. That disappointment is kind of why I never picked up book 2, especially because I tend to gravitate towards more mature readings anyways, and as I said, this does kind of read as a YA book. But you'll see in a second that I can be swayed a little. I am kind of in my read anything era. I'm starting to think that I cannot afford to keep doing all this, because here are my Katee Roberts books, similar to Neon Gods, that I thought were interesting and comparable, and added to my to-be-read list. $. First off, Keeping in the Family, dark restraint. Toxic, violent, enough said. Second, still in the Olympus series, we have Sweet Obsession. This reads to me as the MLM equivalent of Neon Gods, and I very much look forward to that. Next, my favorite, vampires. We have The Court of the Vampire Queen, a trilogy, 3 in 1, in more ways than one. And off the train a little bit, the Smoochy Bus, if you know what I'm trying to say. Prize. This is a sapphic, but the demon situation really caught my eye. I think I'm just gonna go a little bit crazy and just throw some neon colors in there to try and like make something happen, because I'm really not feeling the vibe. I'm scared. I think I need to put the brush down. And would it be crazy if I let this dry and then put some of like the glitter powder on it? I'm kind of into that idea. This is most definitely not dry, but I really don't care. I think I kind of love that. Like, it's just like a little tiny pop of color that kind of gives like the galaxy effect on the lip. So I don't like what happened up here. It is kind of giving sunrise, but like down here, it's kind of cute. I think if I was trying to like fix this, I want it darker and also like better colors, because like this is not going correctly. The pomegranate, nowhere to be found. I kind of just went for club scene. And who knows, maybe I am going to a club. Join me if you want. And voila. With a completed look, I want to thank you for joining me today. I put a lot of effort into today's video, and I hope you really appreciate it. I was like researching, writing the script, planning, getting some new palettes. I hope you liked it. Feel free to leave your comments and suggestions down below. What were your thoughts on this book? Have I convinced you to try it out for yourself? What do you want to see next? Do I suck at makeup? Probably. Tell me all of it. I will read them all. Remember that I'm on all platforms doing all sorts of things. EVC everywhere. Links down below in case you can't find it. Make sure to like and subscribe for me, and I'll see you next week. Martian Lee.